Hello and thank you for joining us on the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the Hangout, 33 people nabbed for carrying out jungle justice in Lagos State. Olusegun Obasanjo says constituency project is corruption. And later on the program, NLC backs ASUU as university teachers begin indefinite strike. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Gani Kayode Balogun, and Festus Eriye. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. An individual is innocent until proven guilty. Some people will say by a competent court of law. But can you tell that to a mob bent in administering justice to a suspected criminal? Many Nigerians have met their untimely death in cases of jungle justice. They are attacked with sticks, stones, bottles, or any pain-inflicting objects and later burnt alive by the people who are suddenly judge, jury, and executioner. No crime is little, from petty stealing, theft, to kidnapping. Same judgment is meted out to the unlucky suspects. In July, 3 men were burnt alive by the mob in Ikorodu for allegedly belonging to the dreaded Badu cult. Now, in August the 8th, 2 persons were set ablaze when suspected ritual kidnappers then was found in Ijayi. Extrajudicial killing is self-help gone wrong. It is a sad reflection of the total lack of faith in the system. The Nigerian police are inept at performing their statutory functions by the judiciary. The judiciary is no better either. It took 5 years before families of the ASUU 4 got justice for their sons killed in mob action in Omokere community in Rivers State. But on Monday, Lagos State Police Commissioner Fatai Owosheni said security forces would not hesitate to arrest and prosecute anyone who wants to turn the state into a banana republic. He says 33 people have been arrested for act of jungle justice. Is there a moral justification for mob action? GKB, let me start with you. I remember this particular incident, the LASMA officer, because I have a sister in LASMA, and anytime she remembers that particular incident, she told me the kind of, fine gentleman this particular guy, was, and the mob action started, and he was dragged into the gutter, and they stoned him, and till he died. Yeah. We also experienced the same thing in Ikorodu.
Fear is the reason. And like we all know, when a mob is baying for blood, it takes the grace of God to stop them from getting their victim. And you know that a mob is faceless. It's usually just a collection of people coming together for only one single reason: to pick on a man they are alleging has done something wrong, and they have a meted justice in their own way to that person. It is unlawful, it is illegal. And even within the context of our culture, it is wrong. The job of the police and the law enforcement basically is to ensure that things like this do not happen. But we all know that the reaction time depends on the distance and how the information got to the police on time. To lynch a person does not require more than 2-3 minutes once it's been identified. And by the time the police will get there, just like when we have fire incidents, before the firemen will get there,
the damage
extensive damage will have been done. So ditto for the case of lynching. I think the Commissioner of Police have given out the right warning, but my fear is that it's not going to stop things immediately. It's going to take a while. So the thing, because the wheel of justice moves, but it moves very slowly. And when people realize that they cannot get justice, or they assume that they cannot get justice, they resort to self-help. Self-help is not really the way to go.
It will just take one person to start. Festus, Is it a product? Is it a function of the people losing faith in the system? Because I don't know. When you see somebody and you apprehend somebody, the first thing you want to do is, you know, to met out, instead of, you don't trust the police enough to hand over that person.
I think that's some of it. You see, in that action, you see a reflection of people not believing that if they hand these suspects to the formal judicial structure, that they're going to get justice. We've had stories of people arresting citizens arresting criminals and handing them over to the police, and somehow the police led them out through the back door, and they never get to face justice in court. So that's some of the what you are seeing reflected in these instances of mob
loss of confidence in
that's a bit of it. But I think that you're also seeing something bigger, just that reflects the degree of decay in our society. There's an increasing descent into lawlessness. You know, our people are becoming increasingly lawless, and it's in little things. You see, a red light stops you, and instead of you stopping, you actually increase your speed. You don't want to obey those little things. So when you see people taking laws into their hands, it's just further reflection of that growing way of lawlessness in the country.
Jide, the one that happened in Ahmadiyya and everything, my own angle to it, because the cameraman that went out with Joker Adisa, I think he got the shot. I mean, Joker Adisa, sorry. He got some shots, and I looked at that shot. It was around past 11 that they went for this assignment. I saw the number of people that came out, and I looked at the numerical strength of these people, and I looked at their ratio to a policeman, and how you can tame and control that kind of mob. In the whole of Lagos, we are told that we have 30,000 policemen to police almost 20 million people. It's almost like mission impossible. Can Fatai Owusheni readily tell us that the issue of this mob attack they can actually curtail it with this trend we are seeing?
I think that it will take a while to get our people to stop behaving like barbarians. It will take a while. We need to keep talking to people, let people realize that jungle justice diminishes us as a people. In fact, it diminishes the worth of human life. It's only in backward societies that this happens, and it's particularly rampant in Lagos. There is nowhere in Nigeria where jungle justice is as rampant as we have it in Lagos. Nowhere.
Look at the
people just, and the painful thing is that most of the time, the people killed are the innocent people. Most of the time. Because you've not given that person a chance to defend himself.
Once that person just starts,
it takes a madman. It takes a madman within the mob to take one wrong step.
Yes.
Others will just
one slap.
This is the way.
We trigger the rest.
And at that point, they are not ready to listen to the guy. And the most painful thing is for policemen to be overpowered, and people will now seize a suspect from them and set the suspect ablaze. I hope that Owusheni would not disappoint me. These 33 people that have been arrested, whatever it takes, and I'm begging him in the name of God, whatever it takes, these people, the police must come up with a watertight case and commit these guys to prison. Because if we do not do that, there's no way we can stop this kind of...
to send signal.
Yes, we have to send a direct signal to these lawless people. You can't be setting people ablaze for no reason. You have, most times, look at the innocent, the guy that was killed and was accused of being a Bado along with his friends, the comedian. Just because
the family came here, the girlfriend came here.
Someone's car broke down and his friends helped. They towed the car, brought the car to where he was. And he said at that time, he didn't want to go out. The wife said he didn't want to go out. But he felt that some people had already sacrifice to bring the car all the way from where it broke down to that community. So why would you, that they have helped, not want to receive your visitors? They came out, you just slaughtered them. There was another incident in Ogun State. The police commissioner was racing to the scene. By the time he got there, they had already set the guy ablaze. He had to chase them away, and they took the corpse away.
The time frame is really very small.
I don't know why our people are behaving like this. We must make examples out of these lawless people. You can't be killing people like this. Look at those university students.
Alufo.
The Alufo people.
Innocent,
bright guys,
talented artists.
Those guys that they are accused of being cultists and of being thieves came from decent homes where their parents were, have people of considerable means who do not have to suffer to send their children.
Because it could be anybody now.
It could be anybody, and they won't listen to you. Do you know what thing that happened in 1999 here in Lagos? A woman had been divorced by the husband. So, and there was this contest for custody of their only child. So the guy went to the school to pick the child. As he was about getting out of the school premises, the woman saw that he was about to take the child away. And then she started screaming, kidnapper, this and that. They didn't wait.
To even know that this is the biological father.
Yes. Well, you know that women sometimes, once that love is lost.
Yes, there's a thin line between love and hatred.
Honestly, once that love is lost, you are dealing with a beast. Once that love is gone, honestly, you are not dealing with a human being anymore. That woman screamed, "Kidnapper, kidnapper!" And they descended like paratroopers on the guy.
The husband, the father.
On the husband, the father of that child. And they set the child ablaze. I was editor of PM News at that time. I still remember the story. They set the guy ablaze and it pleased her.
Oh, damn.
It pleased her. So many times these guys have killed innocent people. Owosheni, I'm challenging him today. I'm challenging, if that is what he would do, for which as he's living, because he will soon leave the police. If that is what he can do to ensure that we do our best to end this nonsense. Owosheni must do his best to commit these people to prison. It is possible that some of them are innocent, but the ones
they should properly screen.
Police should do diligent prosecution and ensure that at least maybe half of these fellows are committed to prison.
GKB, we are looking at densely populated areas like Oshodi, Ikorodu particularly. Right now in Ikorodu, I'm told that people take turn to vigilantes. Around all the landlords, everybody, they come out in the middle of the night and they do shifts. And if any strange person, if they see any strange person in that community, that person will have to explain. This is the beginning. Because somebody was telling me that there are some areas in Ikorodu, once it's 9:30, 10, those areas are no-go area. Once they see anybody, you'll be in trouble.
It's not only in Ikorodu, it's most of the, like you said, most of the urban areas that are heavily populated. And the reasons are very obvious. During periods of recession, like this, when things are extremely bad, people tend to look after number one, which is themselves. And once the crime goes up, so will be the consequence of those who are doing it. I know certain estates that it doesn't matter who you are and what you are. If the time is 11 and you stay in front of their gates beyond 5 minutes, they will shoot you.
They'll shoot you.
It's that bad. They wrote you there. 5 minutes to wait. If you knock on the door, the gate and they didn't open it. In 5 minutes, the policemen have the right to shoot you. Things are that bad. Like Jide said, we have to look at cause and effect. I'm asking Mr. Fatah Owosheni, like everybody else, is an extremely elegant gentleman. Very brilliant officer. One of the best in the force. To do two things for us as his legacy. One of them is to ensure that law and order is restored in those strategic areas. Let the response time to calls be faster, especially when it has to do with mobs. But like I said, a mob action doesn't require a lot of time. It's not a court. 3 minutes one idiot.
Just one blow to the head.
One blow.
You'll be the one
Maybe
that
has a club or something in the sand. Just one blow to the head.
And then, of course, everywhere you have spare tires.
Honestly.
They always have kerosene to burn. So we must define a way that once things like that happen, there was a time, I don't know about now, that was what we have the police, mobile police for. And then the anti-riot police. These are supposed to be quick response force within the army, within the police.
Kind of nomadic.
To move around. So at any given time, they will be 3-4 minutes away from any points of flash points that they come across. But right now, we all know that when you say 30,000 policemen in Lagos, we all know that nothing less than 5,000 are dedicated
to VIPs.
So you're talking
carrying bags,
musicians, all kinds of people
carrying bags.
We don't have the political will, because it's not the fault of the police. They are subdued under what do you call it? Civilian rule. They must obey. Yes. And if a man who says he talks directly to God needed 20 policemen to protect him, there's something wrong with the system.
People are even free to ask for police.
No, you are right.
If you think your life is in danger.
No, it's true. If you talk directly to God,
that means you see, they say this. That means he does not want to be complacent.
He doesn't want to be a
because you can't say, okay, because God is protecting you, then you will be complacent. I guess that's why they prefer to still use human beings.
Let them release all those officers doing carrying bags for wives of VIPs. Let them turn them to anti-riot or whatever name they want to give them. Let Owosheni create a special force, mobile, tactical, for things like this. I know RS is doing extremely well, and their response time is very fast. But those flashpoints, they must put more men.
First, we have a system that a lot of our youths, they've lost confidence on this system, you know. And when you see the mobs, we discover that 95% of them, they are unemployed. They are jobless. They are just waiting to hear anything from any angle, to dissent. They are very angry at the system. They are not happy. So they are frustrated already. So it's just a matter of anything that will trigger off the anger.
I think that what we are dealing with here is bigger than the police, than anything that the police can handle. They can improve their reaction time. Like Jide has been saying, Owosheni can make sure he prosecutes these 33 guys, but what we are dealing with here is much bigger. I think that we are witnessing our people, we are becoming desensitized. He touched on that. We are becoming dehumanized. Even on social media, you look at the things that people share, the things that people, this one has been beheaded, and people, you will see people actually opening it to look at it, gory photographs. We have lost our humanity. Absolutely, we are becoming sick. Beasts. No, for somebody to actually stand up and be the first one to cast the stone that will kill somebody. And I think what we need to do beyond the police, in addition to whatever the police is going to do, is that we need community action. We need to get community leaders involved. We need to get faith leaders involved in the churches, in the mosques. We need to talk to our people. That we are not God.
To soften their hearts.
Even the structured judicial system, there's miscarriage of justice. Sometimes innocent people are jailed. Not to talk of mobs.
Yes.
You know, so we need to begin to speak to ourselves. What are we becoming in Nigeria?
All right. When we return, Obasanjo says constituency projects is corruption. Stay with us. We'll be right back. It's the Journalist Hangout. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're reaching us live from Television Continental, and this is Journalist Hangout. Well, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has been really tough on National Assembly lately, In 2012, he said both chambers were peopled by rogues and armed robbers. In 2016, he wrote to the leadership of the National Assembly and accused lawmakers of corruption, greed, lawlessness, and impunity. Each time he launched his attack, lawmakers enjoyed the comfort of cutting him to size. They accused the octogenarian of corrupting their chambers when he was desperately seeking a third term in office in 2006. But when Nigerians thought the last of the mudsliding had been seen, the elder statesman unleashed another one on Monday. He said constituency projects by lawmakers is nothing but corruption. In December 2016, Daily Trust newspaper published a finding that showed that Indeed, constituency projects were used by lawmakers to bribe their party executives and local supporters to curry political favor. In fact, a former Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, that's Mr. Tony Radia, recently wrote an opinion article where he said constituency projects were ridiculous, as Obasanjo nailed his arch enemies this time around. Babajide, the subject matter. Nigerians want to know, what is the meaning of constituency projects? What's this thing for? Let's break it down.
Constituency projects are projects that lawmakers purport to bring to their constituencies, attract to their constituencies. And they are supposed to be implemented by the executives. That's what...
Ideal situation.
Yes, the ideal situation. But what lawmakers do, because this is a perfect shortcut to stealing for lawmakers. So what they do is they connive with bureaucrats and ensure that those constituency projects are never fully implemented, in most cases, or not even implemented at all.
With the executives.
With bureaucrats, civil servants and all that.
Okay.
Because it's not their duty to directly
be involved.
Implement the project, in the execution of the project. So they will now connive with civil servants. And the executive, for example, the president or other people, will not do not really supervise those projects. You understand? Because if they truly supervise those projects, by now a lot of lawmakers should be behind bars on account of not coming up with the so-called constituency project. So the truth is, vocational centers, town halls, and all that, boreholes, lawmakers and primary health
the one Fashola was complaining about.
Lawmakers claim that yes, we are bringing this to our constituency and all that, but at the end of the day, those projects, in most cases, do not even live beyond the lawmakers who introduced them. So most of the time, they are abandoned. Most of the time, they are abandoned. I think in 2013, 2,399 constituency projects were abandoned. The former Minister of Youth, Turaki, actually came out with these figures, that 2,399 constituency projects were abandoned because lawmakers actually steal through these constituency projects. That was why Babashir Lawal came out to say, look, the 60 billion naira that we have in this 2016 budget, we will not provide funds. And that was the beginning of his trouble. You know, they summoned him to come and defend himself, and he stood his ground. That based on the rampant non-implementation of these constituency projects, that he was right in saying that they will not find money for it. We have the Nigerian lawmaker is the most selfish in the world, because at a time of low oil prices in the international market, when oil prices crashed to about 50%, they were so insensitive that they told Buhari that he must, when the president slashed constituency, the budget for constituency to 60 billion. They piled pressure on the old man. They piled pressure repeatedly until he marked it up to 100 billion. It's marks of extreme insensitivity to think that you must get this money meant for constituency projects when we have other things, you know, like roads, hospitals and all that, that badly needed financial injection. So this is really, Obasanjo is right. I agree with him totally. They will abuse him because he's been saying this for years. They will abuse him, but the man is as tough as they come. He will still say the same thing next year.
Festus,
yes.
When you look at this this project, and I don't know, maybe you've seen in your community any constituency project or any, you know, maybe your lawmaker, you know, implementing any of these boreholes and everything, but the bottom line is that they are not cut out, you know, for those projects, as in that's not their purview. That's not their job. you know, it's representative, you know, oversight and some other thing. But what I'm looking at here is that the way they place emphasis, as Jude said earlier, you know, on this constituency project.
Part of the problem is, again, the way the society plays politics, the way our people, the way we play politics in Nigeria. The typical constituents, they don't care whether your job is just to write laws. They expect that once you get elected to the House of Reps or the Assembly, you are a big man, and you are going to government. You are going to make money.
Must pay our children's school fees.
Government is where people make money. So the society encourages that, and because of that, these lawmakers are also under some kind of pressure. So that pressure drives a lot of them to start looking for ways to grab whatever they can grab.
Hard projects.
You have this vicious cycle. Now there's a lot of corruption in the system. There's a lot of abuse. But if you look at the history of how this thing came about, like Chief was saying here, Obasanjo was at the root of it, because it was under his regime that this so-called constituency projects were created. They didn't exist in this country, you know. But in the heat of his politics and all that, the lawmakers said that when we get back to our constituency, we will be asked, what have you been doing? I'll be able to point and say, okay, this is what I brought you. This is what I brought, and he caved into that demand, and that was the beginning of the problem. So. For us to be able to get ourselves out of that, it's going to take. I don't even know how it's going to happen, you know, because this is, like he said, he has created a monster, and the monster is rampaging. I don't see how we are going to force that monster back into his cage or force the genie back into the bottle, you know, because he created it, and now it will be very, very difficult, because in every budget cycle, the lawmakers will come back and beat you over the head until you cooperate and release the money back to them.
GKB.
Yes, like you said, Obasanjo does not have the moral right to criticize constituency projects because he created it. You remember that in 1999, just a few months after lawmakers all over the country were inaugurated, it was Obasanjo who increased their salaries and allowances.
I remember that furniture allowance
by over 1,000%. That means a councillor who was supposed to go home with 80,000 was now going to go 350,000. And Obasanjo created this new nouveau rich. People who add nothing to the system.
Furniture allowance, I think that time it was 30,000.
There is now selling houses to them. So he was pampering them because he wanted something from them. He created this monster. And he cannot stand on high moral ground and criticize you cannot. It's not right. It's only that Nigerians, we don't remember our history.
No, we don't.
And that is the problem. Because somebody will clap for him.
Especially with Obasanjo, people are very forgetful.
Because they keep forgetting that whatever problem our economy, our political system has now, it was because of Obasanjo. The original template was a councillor to earn less than a university lecturer. By the time Obasanjo ended with them, they were earning more than the vice chancellor. And of course, greed is a ballooning thing. It's like soaking something in water, bread in water, to keep expanding. Exactly. Now they are now like the Incredible Hulk, and they can beat anybody. It doesn't matter whether you are a clean man like Buhari or you are a dirty man like Babangida. It doesn't matter. They will beat you to submission. And the only way you can solve this is only two. One is to start arresting people, taking them to where their constituency projects were located, and showing them to the people that this man got 200 million for this borehole. He did at 150,000. And then take him to jail. Unless we start doing that, we're just wasting our time.
No, but the people who are supposed to do that, they will come after such people. Let's not deceive ourselves. Babashir Lawal ran into trouble the moment he criticized constituency projects, and to their faces he told them that, look, I'm right. These projects do not get implemented. Why should we release money for this project? You know about Babashir, the way he talks, you know, it doesn't hold back. So
we went after him.
Buki set Shehu Sani against him. He set Shehu Sani against him, and today Babashir Lawal is floating. He's floating.
Doesn't know his fate.
He doesn't know his fate. In fact, his brothers in Adamawa, they're already warming up to replace him with someone else. There's a battle out. Yeah, this is the person to replace Babashir.
And the report is not has not been made public.
This is the way these people are. The most selfish band of lawmakers in the world that you can find, who think just about themselves. I was looking at how much the federal government spent on the school feeding program. They spent 6 billion naira on the school feeding program in 14 states. Now, out of that, they employed 33,000 cooks.
That's good.
360 lawmakers.
Per month.
360 lawmakers want to buy, they are buying cars worth 6.1 billion for themselves. The same amount of money, the same amount of money
that we are using to feed
the money, the school feeding distance.
Yes. Federal government spent 6 billion in 14 states and employed 33,000 cooks for the project. That's for 6 billion. That same amount of money, 6.1 billion, is what your federal lawmakers, the people you call honorable, when you don't deserve to call them honorable, somehow honorable comes out of your mouth. Those are the people who now have bought cars, just 360 of them. Imagine the millions of children who have benefited from this. Imagine the number of
employment
who have been employed,
yes,
by this school feeding program. But for 360 people, you want to you bought cars. Let me not say
they got cars when they came in.
You bought cars worth 6.1 billion just after 2 years. So it just shows how insensitive, how selfish these people are. Every time you say, they will say, oh, he hates us, he doesn't like us. But if you conclude that this man that is talking now hates you because he's telling you the truth, then so be it.
And we also have our people there.
So be it.
So it's not
in a season of suffering. In a season of suffering, you can't even think of those things to do.
I have my first caller. Idris is calling us from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Idris.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Idris.
Yeah, Baba Jide, well done.
Thank you, Idris.
You will live longer.
Amen. You too.
You didn't pray for all of us.
Please, what I want to say about this constituency issue. The issue of this constituency, in fact, we actually don't need constituency. We need local government to be established. The local government is there, is being abandoned. These so-called reps and the Senate, whatever, are taking the work of the local government. Because if the local government and the chairmen are working and the councillors, we don't need this constituency. Because that is exactly the work of the local government and the councillors. The councillors are close to the people. The chairmen are close to the people. We enter to go to naming ceremony of the local junior one. So they are the ones to take in charge of all this constituency issue, all this money. That is why they are killing themselves to go there. Honestly speaking. And the issue of this, what happened, sorry, I just want to talk about what happened in Edo. Sir, I think these Senate people are amending the constitution now.
Don't worry. Don't worry, we'll get to that. Don't worry.
Ayo, it's estimated that between 1999 and now, we have spent about 2 trillion naira on constituency projects. Where are they? Where are those projects? Already, Jibrin, the lawmaker who was punished by his colleagues for saying the truth, he explained to us how they steal through constituency projects, how they steal through padding. After the whole thing, the budget has gone through the entire process, has already left the appropriation committee. They will be inserting all kinds of things into the budget. And then at the end of the day, all those funds that have been inserted, they will now see, they will say, oh, you, the leadership, this is what you get. You, this is what you get. This is what you get. That is how they toy with our fate and our future. Yet they don't want to be criticized. When you criticize, they will say you hate them.
That's why you see any House Committee chairman on appropriation, very, very lucrative. House Senate Committee chairman of
public accounts.
So
with public accounts, they can go and harass people in NNPC and be asking them for money and all that. They think we don't know what they do.
Festus,
yes.
Now when you want to look at this, the pattern, Nigerians are not very happy with National Assembly members. In 2019, I'm sure people are going to choose, people are going to be very, very careful on how to choose their lawmakers because
the
level of awareness.
I'm not sure.
Let's hope so.
I'm not sure if you are a betting man. Don't go betting that Nigerians.
Don't be so optimistic about Nigerians.
One of the big issues with constituency projects is the ignorance. Is the ignorance that shrouds it. People don't have information. Yes. There's this NGO that has done quite some work on its budget, and I was reading some interesting stories. They went to there was one incident in Abeokuta. They went to some rep had a 24 million ICT center, which he supposedly brought to his constituency. And that ICT center was cited in his constituency office. And 24 million. And what they have 24 million produce? 15 computers, desktop computers. And the people who were coming to use it, they were being charged to ask to buy ID cards. And
first of all, let me quickly talk to Peter from Cross River. This is ridiculous. Thank you for joining us, Peter.
Peter, join us and talking about the ridiculous.
Hello, Peter.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Baba Jide.
Good evening.
Good evening. Please, I'm very happy. I wish you are my brother. I wish I'm on your team. I could have given you a very luxurious gift which you will never forget in your life. I don't, sorry, please. I don't think that those lawmakers are hearing what we are saying. No. I believe they are hearing. You are saying one thing every day. They are not hearing.
They are hearing. They are hearing. I said they are hearing. One of them came here recently and said, "Why are you always abusing us?" One of them from Lagos East.
You know, who's always bitter in our country, Nigeria, so called.
Thank you,
Idris.
It's not just one of them now. Remember the number of calls we've received and everything directly on and the lawmakers.
He came here and said, "Why are you always attacking us?" If you purge yourself of your wayward behavior, we will leave you alone.
When you are doing well, first of all, we're talking about that funny lawmaker.
Yes, so
24 million.
So this guy got this ICT center, which he will say I brought to my constituency, and the ICT center ended up being cited in his constituency office.
That means he implemented it by himself.
So
he executed the contract by himself.
Yeah, the only way this thing is going to be fought is if Nigerians are too laid back. We are so laid back.
But the truth is, even such things are shrouded in secrecy.
But people need to take an interest.
The lawmakers themselves must demonstrate transparency.
Okay.
How many, even when they come out to say, look, remember that time that we interviewed the lawmaker here? It's like even their salary is like they are on oath. It's like they are on oath not to tell us. We asked this guy on live television, how much do you earn? The president of America, everyone knows how much he earns. How much do you earn? He refused to tell us how much he earns. So it's the same way where people are minded to steal in this manner, because this is a fantastic shortcut to steal it from the public till. They will not let you know that this is here, that is here. One of them was complaining that the public servants who implement will sometimes go and cite those projects in urban centers. I mean, whom are you going to deceive with that?
You can even fight this in another way. Why can't the executive? Because they have the budget. There was a time when the former finance minister will publish the amount I was going to say. Why can't they publish the breakdown of what goes to these different constituencies? So people have that information.
No, I think their money is first line.
Yeah, but they can take the money, but let us have the information.
Remember how they fought even the matter of TSA that said, no, TSA.
No, they can take the first line, can take the money first line, but let's get the information.
We'll
all right.
We need to continue to
happen.
Yes, and ensure that these people purge themselves of their bad behavior.
Okay, when we return now, Nigerian students should not be made to endure another sit at home already. The nation is grappling with economic recession, infrastructural deficits, ethnic agitation, and rising cases of criminality. A disruption of academic activities in public tertiary institutions will only fan the embers of idleness. But the federal government and the academic staff union of universities are locked in dispute over issues spanning 8 years. On Monday, the union commenced an indefinite strike. It directed lecturers to withdraw all services including teaching and attendance of meetings in all universities. ASUU said the action was necessary since the federal government has failed to honor an agreement reached with it in 2009, and this is 2017 now. Among the contentious issues are funding for the revitalization of public universities and academic allowances, as well as fractionalization and non-payment of salaries. In 2013, the union said the government agreed to commit 1.3 trillion naira in 6 years to revitalize tertiary institutions, but funds are yet to be released. The federal government says it was still negotiating with ASUU before it declared a nationwide strike. Today, the Nigerian Labour Congress has shown its weight behind ASUU. Can Nigeria afford a fresh halt in academic activities? GKB, it is so unfortunate that the way we see things in this country, right now, for those people that attended the likes of University of Ife, University of Lagos, University of Ibadan, University of Ilorin, you cannot compare what's obtains now to what we are getting now. Now, the federal government has failed woefully in terms of supporting education in Nigeria. And these people, the lecturers right now, they're not fighting for their salaries. They're not talking about salaries.
The allowances
yes, yes.
The teacher allowances.
Do you understand?
Yeah,
and now, if there's an agreement since 2009, and
they are still negotiating.
They are still negotiating before they call the strike. I mean,
well, you know that almost zero of those who run government today have children in public schools. Almost zero. If we have maybe about 3 or 4, and maybe they don't have a choice, or maybe the children are about to graduate before they came into power. No, and they throw it in our faces so that we can know, because they go to their graduation and show us pictures.
Yes.
Just to show you that my child is too good.
From Leeds, Nigeria, from Lancaster, from all the Ivy League universities.
So we are talking to people who don't have a stake in what you are fighting for. They have no stake. Remember, 6 years ago, Professor Wole Soyinka said that it's about time we declare a state of emergency in education sector. We should simply lock down all the schools. But our man from Otuoke created 6 more universities when they could not even fund
the existing ones.
And just 2 weeks ago, remember, they approved additional 40 universities, taking our university count to about 200. Federal government universities in that list is less than 30. So people have an option of a ratio of 7 to 3. We have to take their children if they go on strike. And guess who owns those schools? The people you are negotiating with. So it's a catch-22. It's a no-win situation. These people are simply not connected to our reality. They believe they are above us. They believe that they can do anything and get away with it. Because it doesn't make sense. Because we know the problem with the tertiary institution. We know the problem with the education sector. We know the solution. I told somebody that in Sweden, it is against the law to take your child out of school before 16. They will jail you. And these are public schools. Try that in Nigeria. I say, well, so, no matter what we say, I support ASUU 130%. Because no matter what they do, nothing will happen. The children of those people you are fighting for don't have children in public schools. They don't have children in public universities. They don't have children in public polytechnics. They don't care. It's now us against them. If you like, strike till kingdom comes. Nothing will change. The next government will come in. They will tell you they are still negotiating. Because the thing is very simple. Take away infrastructure from school authorities. Create a fund. ETF, the one Obasanjo and Atiku are spending between themselves. Create a fund, line up elements that can be used over a period of 6 years. So these monies can be traced. That's what the lecturer said they wanted. Remove this from individuals who can abuse it. If a school needs, what do you call these things? Lecture halls, and they need 16. They know they have 16. They will come to the place where they need the money, and you pay them according to the element that have already been done. But these people don't care. Some people who are universities that are bigger than Neighborhood States, campus alone. You think he cares? These minimum students will come from the public schools to the universities. And that's where we're going.
Festus,
yes.
I don't know. Is going on strike, is this the best way out of this situation or the best way to get results?
When you are dealing with the kind of governments we have in Nigeria, you have to put some pressure on them. As far back as when I was in the university, ASUU was always calling strikes over this same issue.
Same issue.
And you're talking about the agreement that was signed between 2009 and now. We're talking about 7, 8 years. I'm talking about when I was in university, that was over 20 years ago. ASUU was calling strikes. So if this issue has not been resolved over that length of time, that timeline, you need some kind of I think that this thing needs to come to a head, you know, and for the government, because if we don't have this kind of strike embarrassing the government, there will be no action. They can take their time. They say we are negotiating. We're negotiating.
Before
we are surprised.
the
Look, ASUU can let them shut down the universities. If they shut down the universities, parents will cry out. The government will be embarrassed. People will be forced to come to the table and sort this thing out once and for all. So I think that in the circumstance, the strike is the best thing that you could have done if they want to get some results.
Babajide, the bad aspect of this whole thing is that go to all these francophone countries around us, Republic of Benin, Togo, you discover that Nigerians form 97 or 95% of the students in these schools, schools with funny names and everything. Now, if we have options, we have alternatives, parents, any good, nobody will want to say, okay, if you are not even financially buoyant, you want to say, okay, let's do a private school. A public university now is like a no option for parents now. But before, it was the best option.
Yeah, at least it's those public universities that we attended.
Yes.
When I was growing up, we didn't have all these nursery schools and the rest of
them.
Nursery schools are everywhere now. Nursery primary schools. I think in Ilorin, when I was growing up, there was one nursery school, Trinity Nursery and Primary School, that my younger sister attended. I didn't even attend it. She attended it at least for her 4th and 5th class or so, you know, or her 5th and 6th class. So I didn't want to attend it. It was not common at that time.
At all.
Our public schools were good. I remember Shehu Shagari's children attended Federal Government College in Ilorin. You know why I remember? Because of that crash, that famous crash that consumed Shagari's wife and children. They had gone to pick them in school, you know, to take them back to Sokoto on holidays, and then the car caught fire. So I remember that as sitting president, Shagari's children were attending Federal Government College in Ilorin.
Those unity schools were the best schools at the time.
No, and even, look, the civil servants, teachers were among the richest in our country some time ago. So it's those teachers who could afford to even send their children to the best schools. The best schools were the Federal Government colleges.
Yes.
Your high-flying governor in Lagos State, Federal Government College. Is it Wari? Yeah, Federal Government College, Wari. Yeah.
The Wonder Boy.
Yeah, the same school that the MD of Access Bank, Herbert Wigwe, attended. You know, and Ambode scored 2nd best result in WAEC, in passing out in West Africa, 2nd best. Good schools in Nigeria. The quality of education was good. Quality of instruction, everything was fine. Our universities ranked among the best in the world. Today, nobody wants to send his children to universities in Nigeria. Honestly. Why? Because the successive governments chose to abandon education. What is even the allocation to education in our budget? We are unable to meet even the UN stipulation. Because when you fund education sufficiently, some of the demands that these guys are making, you will be able to accommodate them in the demands. For example, they want increased funding for research. Why should that be difficult if we want to grow as a country? They want, increase
and that's the core of their job.
Increase funding for infrastructure. People now, universities are waiting now for individuals to build those tests, for individuals to build lecture theaters. People like Cafe Babalola are building lecture theaters in Unilag. The same thing in others too are building everywhere, because government has and neglected his responsibilities.
The other day I went to Unilag Faculty of Law.
Remember, you see, and you will be ashamed of yourself. You know, as an alma mater. Remember that these guys went on strike for 6 months. Yet, after 6 months of strike, that set back our students, we still couldn't find a way to solve this problem. In fact, we have not done anything since then. We are provoking them to do another long strike, and they believe that, look, after a while they'll get tired, they'll come back. It's unfair. It's
after sometimes they'll start threatening them that no work, no pay.
Yes, they threatened them back then, but they eventually paid them. Government, this is a new government.
Yes.
Government is a continuum. Agreements reached by previous governments. This is a new government.
Not so new anymore.
No, metaphorically, because this is not the government that negotiated.
They worked them in 2009.
That's the point that I'm making. You know, now agreements reached by previous administration must be complied with by this administration.
It's binding.
You can't find another way around it.
If you want to modify it, come to the round table, modify it, but then you must commit to it.
Let them know that, okay, this is what you can do. But you see, you don't even go to the negotiation table with a stiff neck. You must be ready to come down and agree on certain things. And I believe that the Minister of Education,
Adam.
Yes, who was said to have criticized the former administration. He has to sit down now with these people and say, gentlemen, this is what government can do. We'll try our best and do this. So I believe that the government needs to look at this issue again and find a way to make peace with the lecturers and implement the agreement dating back to 2009.
So good faith.
GKB, the implication of not allowing the students to stay long at home.
We all know the implication. We already have enough problems. We are now providing the food soldiers to really cause problems for our country. Incidentally, the acting president is a member of ASUU.
Yes,
as a former lecturer. What an appropriate time to go.
That's the right time for them
to create a moral problem for them.
Put the conundrum on his neck. You are one of us. All the story now.
Yes.
Implement it. Nigeria is on a precipice, and I don't want this thing to be the reason why we go over the ledge.
Festus,
yes.
Your last take.
I think that they need to come to the table. The strike will provide the pressure, and I think we need to deal with this once and for all. We have the money. Instead of buying 6 billion, spending 6 billion, we need to change our priorities.
They've already bought that one.
That one is gone. We need to reset our priorities.
We park a airplane somewhere for 90 days.
You know, so we need to reset our priorities.
And we are waiting when our president is ready to use it. Leave our
your last take on this.
Well, I want this government to do what is right, and what is right is to negotiate with ASUU and meet some of the demands of these guys. I want to believe that these ASUU guys are patriots. They found it extremely difficult to take this decision. They've been talking about this for a long time. But it has now come to a head and they decided to go on strike because they've been neglected for so long. Show respect to these guys. Show decency. Call them to the round table and try to achieve a lasting peace with ASUU.
I think the ball is in the court of Malam Adamu and Senator Chris Ngige and the acting president, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, who belongs who also is a member, a
lifetime
member of ASUU. That is, if he had retired officially from the University of Lagos Faculty of Law. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. I want to thank you, GKB, for attending. Festus Ireye, thank you. And Babajide Kolade Otitoju, thank you. And that's it for JH today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat tonight just at 11 p.m. on DSTV 418, GoTV 45. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube. That's youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnewsnigeria.tv. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. See you tomorrow and God bless Nigeria.